Alexander the Great, born in 356 BCE in Pella, Macedonia, remains one of history's most extraordinary military tacticians and visionaries. By the age of 30, he had carved out an empire that stretched from Greece to Egypt and as far east as the Indus River in present-day Pakistan. This vast expanse was a fusion of cultures, peoples, and political systems. However, Alexander's meteoric rise was matched by a sudden and tragic fall. His death in 323 BCE, under ambiguous circumstances, initiated one of the most dramatic collapses of power in ancient history. Without a concrete plan for succession or a stable imperial administration, his empire, like a colossus built on sand, crumbled swiftly. The ensuing decades were marked by bloody civil wars, political intrigue, and fragmentation that reshaped the ancient world. Alexander died in Babylon at the age of 32, just days before he was to embark on a new military expedition, this time toward Arabia. His final days were marked by fever, delirium, and progressive weakness. Ancient sources offer differing explanations for his death. Natural causes. Modern historians speculate diseases like malaria, typhoid fever, or West Nile virus may have struck him. Alcohol poisoning. Alexander was known for his heavy drinking, and some suggest this played a role in his demise. Deliberate poisoning. Though suspected by contemporaries, most scholars discount this theory due to the slow progression of his illness. Regardless of the cause, the consequences of his sudden demise were profound, largely because he left no clear successor. His only son, Alexander IV, was born after his death to his wife Roxana. His half-brother Philip III and Aridaeus, though of royal blood, was mentally disabled and unfit to rule independently. Alexander's generals, known as the Diadochi, Greek for successors, initially attempted to maintain a unified empire. In theory, Philip III and Alexander IV would rule jointly under the regency of Perdiccas, a trusted general. However, unity proved fleeting. The lack of a centralized authority and the vastness of the empire meant governance was impractical without strong leadership.
Key early events.
Partition of Babylon, 323 BCE. The empire was divided among the generals, with each governing a satrapy, province. Murder of Perdiccas, 321 BCE. His assassination sparked the first of many successor wars. Assassination of Alexander IV and Roxana, circa 310 BCE, ordered by Cassander to eliminate rival claims to the throne. These events underscored the ruthlessness of the struggle for power and the impossibility of restoring Alexander's singular rule. Between 322 and 281 BCE, the Diadochi waged a series of brutal conflicts over territorial claims and dominance. These wars not only devastated regions, but also ensured that no centralized empire would ever replace Alexander's. Prominent Diadochi and their realms. Ptolemy went Sota, seized control of Egypt and established the Ptolemaic dynasty, ruling from Alexandria. Seleucus I Nicator founded the Seleucid Empire stretching from Asia Minor to India. I Monophthalmus attempted to reunite the empire under his rule, but was killed at the Battle of Ipsus, 301 BCE. Lysimachus and Cassander controlled Thrace and Macedonia respectively, before being defeated or killed by rivals.
Each general established his own dynasty, and by the early 3rd century BCE, the empire had formally splintered into independent Hellenistic kingdoms. Despite the political collapse, Alexander's conquests had an enduring cultural and intellectual impact, initiating the Hellenistic Age, 323 to 30 BCE. This period was marked by the fusion of Greek and Eastern cultures, resulting in unique and dynamic societies.
Key aspects of the Hellenistic legacy.
Spread of Hellenism. Greek language, philosophy, art, and urban planning influenced cities across Egypt, Mesopotamia, and Persia. Syncretism in religion. Local deities were merged with Greek gods. For example, the Egyptian god Amun was equated with Zeus. Founding of cities. Dozens of new cities, many named Alexandria, served as administrative and cultural hubs. Alexandria in Egypt became a leading center for science, philosophy, and literature, home to the Great Library and Museum. Scientific advances. Figures like Euclid, Archimedes, and Eratosthenes flourished during this time. Although Alexander's political vision disintegrated, his cultural influence endured for centuries, shaping everything from art and architecture to governance and religion. The Hellenistic kingdoms, though initially powerful, lacked cohesion and were often at war with each other. Their instability paved the way for the rise of Rome, which gradually absorbed each Hellenistic state.
Timeline of Hellenistic decline.
Macedonia fell to Rome after the Battle of Pydna, 168 BCE, formally annexed in 146 BCE. Seleucid Empire, weakened by internal strife and external threats, especially Parthians, faded by the 1st century BCE. Ptolemaic Egypt, the last holdout, ruled by Cleopatra VII, was annexed after the Battle of Actium, 31 BCE, and the suicides of Cleopatra and Mark Antony in 30 BCE. With Egypt's fall, the final remnant of Alexander's empire became a Roman province, and the Hellenistic age gave way to the Roman imperial period. Several interconnected factors contributed to the downfall of Alexander's empire. Lack of succession planning. Alexander's failure to name a capable successor created a power vacuum. Cultural diversity and weak integration. The empire encompassed vastly different cultures and lacked a unifying administrative structure. Overextension. The sheer geographic scale made centralized governance impossible with the infrastructure of the time. Personal ambitions of generals. The Diadochi prioritized personal power over imperial unity. No institutional continuity. Alexander's rule was highly personalistic. No bureaucratic or legal framework was left behind to sustain governance. Alexander the Great's empire collapsed almost as swiftly as it was built, undone by the very forces that had fueled its rapid expansion: personal ambition, military dominance, and cultural diversity. However, his influence endured through the cities he founded, the cultural exchanges he sparked, and the vision of a connected world he almost realized. Though no successor matched his achievements, the Hellenistic age he unwittingly launched enriched world history with profound contributions in art, science, politics, and philosophy. In death, Alexander achieved what few conquerors ever could in life: a legacy that reshaped civilizations across 3 continents.